Well, you're live and inside of Kodi. This is the software that drives the whole entertainment experience. First stop is that I'd like to go over to the weather tab, select it, and once you configure it, it's going to show you what the weather is in your zone, or in zones that you set up. You can prompt up to 3 different zones, and of course you know where I'm at. That is not the correct weather, but give it 1 second. All right, here it is. I'm in sunny Atlanta, and right now it's peaking at about 90 degrees on June 15th at about 4:45 in the evening time. That is Eastern Standard Time. You can also see to the right a forecast, and this is using Yahoo's weather app. You can see what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is like. Well, you know, Thursday we've got some thunderstorms on Thursday and Friday. Okay, all right, so we'll back out of this, and let's go to the main thing, which is the video experience. Now, I showed you some screenshots to the channel guide. Let's actually take a look at it. So this is what you'll get as a channel guide, and you can see it's just going to show you a description, you know, of each show that's on, time zones. You can scroll across, you can go further down. There are several pages and channels, and basically what this FTV guide does is it pulls in all of the live content. Okay, so let's get out of this. Now what you're going to need to do is you are going to have to take some time and go through and configure each channel. Okay, basically what you have here inside of Kodi and our box is that it's just disruptive technology. Okay, disruptive technology is something that changes the way that things are currently being done. So typically we access cable and maybe Netflix for movies and movie streams and live TV and maybe converter boxes. But with this is going to be totally different. And what I want to do is I want to go through the other 4 tabs or buttons that you see here on the screen. But first, let's take a look at Genesis, because Genesis is going to be like the main one that you guys are going to use. Now within Genesis, we'll start from the bottom. There's a search tab where you can locate movies and TV shows. You can also search by maybe a particular actor or actress. You know, there are tools. Tools will allow you to make some changes within the Genesis software, and then you can then everything is categorized. You can look at the latest episodes, latest movies, My Genesis, channels, TV shows, and movies. So we'll start at the top and look at movies. And these movies are broken down into genre. Okay, so if you want to click it, it breaks it down to action, adventure, animation, so forth. Okay, now we'll go back and let's look at let's take a look at language. So I speak English, but if you let's say speak Spanish or Portuguese or German or French, you know, you may want to look at movies in your own language. And so when you click on French, give it a few seconds to load, it will pull up all French titles, and you watch whatever is of interest to you. Okay, won't spend too much time on this one. All right, and then it's also broken down by box office by the year. So you can see movies, and it goes all the way back to actually 1966. And this is just for the box office. Now that's not to say that movies only go back as far as 1966, because I've seen some that went a little further back, like Casablanca. You know, that was done in the late 30s or early 40s. You know, you can also search by people watching, most popular. You know, when you get in here, this is going to take some time. You're going to need to play around and see what options work best for you. You can also search by what's currently in the theaters. So let's take a quick look at what's in that section. So this is what's currently in the theaters. Okay, Jurassic Park 2015, Mad Max Fury Road, San Andreas, Pitch Perfect. And then if you want to look and say, well, hey, you know, what's the most popular? You select that option. And Genesis is a very powerful source for streaming live movies and TV shows. I should say not live movies, but movies and TV shows. And the TV shows that you're going to watch from here are going to be like, you know, without commercials. Okay, so let's take a look at that option real quick. And this would be TV shows. So let's take a quick peek at most popular. We won't go into genre and some of the other options, and you can see, I mean, these are all shows that everyone is talking about. Game of Thrones, Hannibal, Daredevil, Arrow, The Flash, you know, Supernatural, Sons of Anarchy. You know, you can watch full episodes. Let's take a quick look at Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Now, I'm just sort of popped up on my radar just maybe a few months ago. Didn't realize that they were into 5 seasons already. You know, but you can start from season 1. Let's see how many episodes. So far, there's 10 episodes in season 5 that are available. You know, so do as a friend of mine did. You know, she saw on TV the Persons of Interest show that comes on. She liked it. Thought about it one day on the system. She went, she searched, and she found, you know, from the beginning. And so within the past month or so, five weeks or so, she's watched from episode 1 of season 1 all the way to season 4. You know, just taking some time. Now, as far as like, if you click on My Genesis is going to save whatever favorites that you have. Okay, and I'll show you how to do favorites. If you, when you pick a title in the list, if you click, well, basically this will say add to favorites, and I guess I need to go back and give the best example, but that's where you would, you know, from this menu, that's where you would go ahead and you would save favorites. So that would be my favorite movies that I have bookmarked so far. This would be my favorite TV shows. So let's quickly go back to movies, and we'll bookmark something real quick and then come back and take a look at it. All right, so we'll go to box office by year and go back up to, let's say, I hate to use the example of 2015, so we'll go with 2014 because we're really not marketing the fact that you can see some of the latest movies that are at the movie theaters, okay? But you know, within this system, the way it goes and it searches out movies, you will see some of what's currently at the movie theaters, and I want to explain that in just a second. But here you can see add to movies. So if I wanted to add American Sniper to my movie collection, when I go back, as I go back, okay, as I go back and I go to My Genesis, which is where you still store all of your favorite movies and TV shows. So I'll select favorite movies, and you should see American Sniper on the list. There it is, okay. All right, and so let's take a quick peek at maybe one of the movies. Let's go with Jurassic Park. For time's sake, so we won't look at everything because it does take a couple of seconds to load up, and I want to make this overview as brief as possible. So what I did, because I'm not on the super fast internet, I'm going to go down to HQ stands for high quality, HD of course stands for high definition. So I'm going to go over down to, I'm trying to remember which one of these I know worked before. Okay, let's go with this one. Just want to give you a taste of the movie. All right, so there's no stream available for that one. And you will run into that from time to time. just one of the things you have to be a little patient with this system. You're going to run into some links that are not going to be active. But after you click on a few, you will find something that works. So I'm just going to go ahead and click resume here. Takes a few seconds to load. And the movie starts, and when it starts, I mean, it's beautiful. So your HD movies are going to be in HD. Now, even though this one was medium quality, still going to be, still going to show great. Look at that. Jurassic Park. This is, I believe, 1990. Okay, HD wasn't even thought about probably back then. And as you can see, I mean, that's quality. Okay, no monthly. And so, want to explain something. Due to the most recent updates to net neutrality laws that were just passed, it gives us free reign to search the web and without restrictions, as long as we're file sharing and file streaming. That's all our streaming TV media player is allowed to do. We're not able to download, duplicate, or host content from content with this box. Okay, the Kodi software just file scrapes. So in other words, it goes into the cloud, and it looks for file shares and file streams and deliver them directly to your computer. So I've had the question asked, well, is this legal? And yes, it is. Okay, it's legal because you're streaming. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you what Hollywood does. Hollywood never loses money on a movie. Okay, on movies, because what they do is they go around to countries and they sell the rights to their movies for millions, and they sell it to countries like China, Europe, and other countries, because they want to use those countries as test markets. Okay, so from their data that's gathered, they once they start testing, they look to see if a movie does well, then they know when they bring it to the US that they don't have to they don't have to spend a whole lot of money on a big advertising budget. Okay, but if the movie doesn't do well, then they know that they have to use a higher advertising budget. So now when a movie goes to China, let's sort of say, because of China's laws, the same day that the movie is released in theaters, it's also released on DVD that exact day. Okay, I know that's kind of strange, that's kind of crazy, and maybe that might be a good thing, here in the US, but it's released the same day. So now who's to keep somebody from lawfully purchasing a DVD copy and file sharing it or file streaming it on the internet? Okay, and so what once again, what Kodi software does, it goes out and it streams the internet for file sharing or file streaming sources, and this is how we're able to bring this content in. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on CBS News Live. Now this is actually going to be a live feed of what's currently being broadcast. If you were able to look at this at the same time I'm recording it, and you watch CBS News, it's going to show you some live information, and you'll see that this is going to come in beautiful picture. It's going to be HD. Now these are some other topics that are trending at the moment that they've spoke about on an earlier segment of the show.
Late in the afternoon, the children were lining up to purchase treats, and as soon as Brown stepped out of the truck, gunfire erupted.
Wow. Getting the summer off, and here's something negative. Okay, and you can click on each one of these segments and watch it. We'll also go to extreme sports, and just to go to show you the diversity of what you can see. Now everything that this part is something that's been pre-recorded. Okay, and these are major extreme sport topics. So we'll look at Tyler Fernigal shreds the abandoned stadium, which is the stadium in Michigan. I believe it's a Silverdome. It takes a few minutes. Silverdome, Pontiac, Michigan.
I remember it like yesterday. The smell of fresh paint.
I remember it like yesterday.
Stands overflowing.
The smell of fresh paint.
For the modern age.
The stands overflowing.
40 years ago.
The Coliseum for the modern age. 40 years ago, I stood for Detroit. I held the action. I owned the prize
So
fighting.
you can catch up on
I
your
brought the
sports.
champions.
And also, let's take a look at some live TV. Now, I set up a free account over at US TV Now, which is a site that is set up for the military. When they're abroad, they can watch shows from back home. So we'll take a quick look at Judge Judy happens to be on.
It truly looked like a blizzard on a state services. It truly looked like a blizzard on a
Because of my connection, there's going to be some buffering. We're going to talk a little bit more about connections with, I'm using Clear, which is not a super fast internet. So if you've got like Comcast or let's say AT&T Universal, you're gonna get a much faster speed. Let's go over to Fox. Let's see if we can watch a little bit of the Women's World Cup. All right, folks, and this is live.
Coming your way tomorrow. Live from Vancouver. Abby Wambach in the United States taking on Nigeria as they close out. Live from Vancouver. Abby Wambach in the United States taking on Nigeria as they close out. Group of death.
All right, so let's back out of this and keep it moving. All right, if we go over to music, because you can listen to radio stations. There's about 500 global radio stations. I activated one of the add-ons. It'll load up in a second, and we're going to listen to a few songs, and we'll be done with this part of the presentation. So let's go over to, let's say, 80s rock hits. Some ZZ Top, Sharp Dressed Men. '90s hits.
Them no more things I say them no more changes come once in life. Stop forgiving me, stop forgiving me, stop forgiving me, stop forgiving me.